Hey guys, I wanted to give a content warning. I do talk about self-harm and suicide in this video, so if you're not comfortable with that, then just feel free to click off, watch one of my other videos, or just any other video in general. Also, the suicide prevention hotline in the US is 988. You can either call or text that number, and yeah, let's get into it. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am What I Do, and today I'm going to be doing a Get Ready With Me on Picture ID Day, and I'm also going to be talking about Andrew Tate, and specifically one video that I saw. So before I get into all of that, I'm going to open up a yerba mate, which I want to do. So like, here it is. There we go. I'm going to be talking as I do, like, kind of skincare a little bit. So, if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, he's kind of one of those guys online that does those, like, kind of, like, podcasts where they tend to talk more about, like, alpha male and if you have a girlfriend, how to control her or, like, how to deal with her. The fact that you have to talk about your girlfriend in a way that you have to deal with her doesn't sound that great of a relationship, but according to Andrew Tate, most of what he says is the truth. You'll see that in the video that I'll be talking about. I haven't been, like, keeping up with that drama because, well, first, Andrew Tate doesn't seem to care, but also, not a lot of videos have kind of been recommended to me, and I also don't want to be one of those people that just seeks out the worst news ever that's going on at that time, because I think that's kind of a toxic thing to do for our mental state. We should be balancing some bad news and then also some, like, actual good news. That's actually why I watch, like, that one channel, Inside Edition, a lot on YouTube, because they have, like, kind of, like, few, like, kind of horrifying news stories and then some also, like, feel-good stories. And also, yeah, something's going on over there. I don't really know. I'm going to be using these eye patches, or, like, under eye patches that I think are meant for night. Good. And I don't actually have a mirror, so I think that's how you put it on. I really don't know. So my friend sent it to me from TikTok, like saved it, then sent it to me.
So the first thing I think, this is a bit controversial, but this is truth. The first thing I think when I see, like, someone committed suicide or something, I understand we all have trouble and bad things happen. I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. But isn't that super disrespectful to, like, just even like your parents? Like, they went through all that to raise you, and now you're sad, so you can jump off a fucking bridge. If my kid did that, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, are you fucking moron? Like, I wouldn't even give him a funeral, but fuck him, write him off.
Okay, apparently he does not know if he has children. If he has children, I'm kind of sorry for them. So first off, what he says is also, this wasn't posted by him. This was posted by an account called Teacher, probably one of his stands that kind of just, like, you know, actually believes him. So he says that, so the first thing I think, this is a bit controversial, but this is truth. So first, whenever you're talking about serious topics like suicide, I think that especially his stance is an actual opinion and not what could be considered a fact, because he deals with, like, kind of like specific emotions. You can't say this is controversial but this is truth when you're stating your own opinion on something. Saying that your opinion is truth is, like, kind of disregarding every other person, but obviously on podcasts like the ones that he goes on, or I think even he has his own, on those types of podcasts, I don't think they seem to care about what other people think. They will say their opinion is truth, and then move on with their day. A few videos ago in my freedom of speech video, I talked a lot about fact versus opinion, so I would suggest you watch that video after this one. When I see someone committing suicide or something, I understand we all have trouble and bad things happen. Which, I mean, isn't really his point. He said that as if he would expect that part, being like, I get it, we all have bad things happen. But I feel like when he said that, he did that sort of to just try and calm down the backlash that he think he would get from this, from saying this. So again, I haven't watched literally anyone's video on him, if they've been making videos at all. He says, isn't that super disrespectful to, like, your parents? And so he is not a parent of anyone, and while anyone who doesn't have children, I think they do have the right to speak about children and their parents, I think speaking on behalf of the parents in this case isn't good, because we have seen news stories where parents say they didn't know that anything was wrong. They didn't know any of the struggles that their child was going through, and they fed their child, they treated their child like they thought was best for them. And then when their child commits suicide, it's not just like the parent was awful.
In our conversation with these 4 parents, we saw incredible strength in the midst of grief, and each had a message of awareness.
Molly was adorable, one of the most caring people that I've ever known. And she was obviously also very good at keeping secrets, because she managed to keep from us as a family that she was suffering in this way. We had no idea.
When someone commits suicide, they aren't processing things right. If they were, they wouldn't take any of the struggles that they're going through as it would be better if I were dead. But sadly, a lot of teens in my generation, or even just adults too, take suicide as the solution for their problems and struggles, because it's hard for them to find any other solutions. So I'll get more on the disrespectful part more.
Isn't that super disrespectful to just even your parents? They went through all that to raise you, and now you're sad so you can jump off a bridge.
This part shows that he doesn't really get it, because for him to say that people commit suicide just because they're sad, but then earlier in the clip say that he gets it, that isn't good. You clearly don't get it, because while I have never been suicidal, I also know that it takes someone being more than just sad to even think of it, to even think of killing themselves, let alone actually do it. So it's not just a matter of them being sad so they're gonna jump off an effing bridge, as Andrew Tate said. That isn't why people or children commit suicide at all. It's much deeper than what Andrew Tate thinks, and I think he should have actually done more research into it. If they really were, as Andrew Tate said, sad enough to commit suicide, then it's much more than being sad. Something else is going on inside their head. They went through all that just for you to be sad and jump off a bridge. So a lot of people on the internet recently have been reacting to people saying parents go through all this just for you to whine and complain and go back to your room in a bad attitude. And yeah, of course, being actually disrespectful to your parents and not listening to them and not doing what they say, that is disrespectful. However, we're teenagers going through life. We don't have the same experience as adults do. So when adults say that parents go through all of this just for you to complain about one thing, you're not in the same mental state in high school experience that teens have to go through. And it's not a justification for them acting horribly towards their parents. It's just you don't go through the same thing that they do. Just as they don't have to experience what you have to experience at your job. Isn't that what you're supposed to do as parents? Aren't you supposed to feed them, give them a bed or somewhere to sleep, give them a roof over their head, provide for them clothes, toothpaste, the basics? Isn't that what you're already supposed to do? Because if you don't do that, then if Child Protective Services is doing their job, they will take them away from you. And while Child Protective Services and foster care and all of that is definitely not okay, but it's still not just you saying, well, I did my best and they still didn't turn out right. So it's not that. You're supposed to treat your child with the respect that you had when you were a child, or even more. Because if you're well, my dad spanked me till I was 17. Well, that's your dad. And see how your relationship turned out if you didn't, talk about it with him. Okay? It's not you're pitying your child when you treat them better than your parents treated you. You're not pitying your child. You're just being nicer to them. You're giving them more respect and realizing there are better punishments for you to do than to spank your child when they're 17. There are just better punishments you could do. So it's not disrespectful, because they're not sad because their parents treated them nicely. They're sad or depressed or suicidal because of something else. It could be people from school, influence online. If there are people online glorifying suicide, then I could see someone being influenced by that and then, wanting to do it themselves.
In Molly's case, was she bullied, or you feel like it was more social media?
The only thing that we did find was on social media, which invited people who were depressed into a club. It invited people who may have been self-harming into a club. It normalized those behaviors. It just said time and time again, I'm a lost cause, you're a lost cause, join our club. And I do think she had a sense of complete worthlessness at the end of her life.
What did he say? Yeah, he said he would be pissed off because he would think that his kid was a moron and be like, F him, I won't throw him an effing funeral because I'm pissed at him.
If my kid did that, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you fucking moron. Like, I wouldn't even give him a funeral, but fuck him, write him off.
But, like, it's different to be pissed because your child committed suicide and you no longer are able to create memories with them. He says that he's pissed because he would then know that his child was a moron. He calls them morons and, like, maybe not stupid, but just morons, and then also sad. Again, as if there aren't more feelings than just sad that would lead someone to commit suicide. And then for the moron part, calling someone a moron because they committed suicide is just playing down all of the mental health struggles that that person had to go through just for them to even find the wrong solution. Committing suicide is the wrong solution. And nothing is being processed right in their brain if they decide that suicide would be the best solution. So they're not a moron, as Andrew Tate would say. They are struggling. They are going through something and they need help, and maybe they didn't get that help. Maybe they were in the middle of getting help and still that couldn't do anything.
Nigel's case was a little bit different simply because he told me that he was having thoughts of suicide. I started taking him to see therapists. I actually thought he was getting better. He had started doing normal stuff again, wanting to play with his friends, and at that moment when I finally started to let up and I thought he was okay, that's when he really wasn't.
Were there warning signs?
The warning signs were a teenager spending a bit more time in her bedroom and separating that slightly normal, awkward behavior that a teenager has as they grow up from the warning signs that can alert a parent to the dangers of anxiety, depression, or suicide. I think so hard for any parent to do.
It's downplaying all the stuff that they've done in their life, all the good stuff that they've done in their life. They could have directed a great short film at their school. They could have been a great student. They could have been all of these great things. But then no, Andrew Tate has to call them a moron because they didn't get the help that they needed, because they didn't know how to get through the struggles that they had. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I actually did less skincare than I thought. I only did eye pads and then this Biore strip, which still has to be done, like hardening, so that I could peel it off. I hope you guys have something to say about this video, even if you don't agree with me. Feel free to leave that in the comments. Anyways, see you guys in the next video. Bye!